It's the Beckler and Seanna podcast, your daily download of X92.9's X Mornings with Beckler and Seanna.
Brought to you by Shane Homes. If it's your favorite, it's probably Shane Homes, Calgary's favorite home builder. See quick possessions and learn more about custom home options at shanehomes.com.
It is Monday, July 27th, 2026. I'm Seanna. Beckler's away today. He's out with the boys in Moose Jaw for a tournament, or I think one of the boys at least, and he just wanted to take some extra time because why not? It's glorious out. It's summer. You can take a day here or there. I think why not, hey? We always have this thing, too, where for work, basically, we're allowed to take more time in the summer. There's certain times of year where it's not as desirable to take time off. So summer is kind of free reign, and we always like to take advantage because, of course, we only get a couple months of it, and it's the time when the weather's the best. So why the freak not? Anyway, he is back tomorrow, so we're going to be, the show will be back. The band will be back together tomorrow, Beckler and I, but just today he's away. You will actually hear his voice on this podcast, though. It's Shark Week, so heading into that, we actually talked to a shark expert a while back for a part of Career Day, so gonna replay a little bit of that in case you missed it. Also, you can find that full thing on our podcast, so this is why it's always fun to listen to the podcast. You get all these goodies. We also talk about a proposal I have for a new smoke monitoring system. Right now we have colors. I think we can go a little more exciting with that. I'm a bad girl. I got in trouble for doing something recently, so I'll get to that. I remedied it though. Everything's good, but whoops. I have a couple cool etymologies, ones that you would never guess, super unique ones for you. I'm watching a show right now, and something happened on the show that is completely outrageous, and I'll play you a clip from that. And a friend was telling me about his vasectomy. I know, maybe TMI, but we're close friends. All of that and more after your out-of-context clip of the show.
Would you like him to make you something else?
I would like seafood.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
As you may know by now, I'm kind of obsessed with that show Below Deck right now. It's awful reality TV, but I'm a bit addicted to it. I always kind of need a bad show to watch in the background when I'm doing work and stuff, and that one you can kind of check in with and not. Anyway, it's the ultra rich. These yachts that they're on, it's about $200,000 for 4 days to take it out, which is absolutely insane, right? So obviously, we're talking ultra rich people. Also people who are a bit insufferable in certain episodes, like this one I was watching yesterday. So how this works is when you arrive at the yacht, you have these preference sheets. So if you're allergic to anything, you don't like any food, you just note this on your preference sheet. Well, these people sit down for dinner, and the chef made this incredible chicken dish. But these guys weren't happy about that. Just listen to this conversation, okay? This made me want to bang my head against a wall.
Who ordered chicken? Anyone?
It's well done.
It is good.
It's still chicken. Chicken is what poor people eat.
Sorry, just that line right there in particular.
Chicken is what poor people eat.
Chicken is what poor people eat. Oh, man, that's just a different realm from us. Hey, like, chicken is very expensive. I can't afford chicken. And these, tell that part of it. Anyway, they continue on.
You're not wrong.
Is everything okay?
None of us put chicken on our preference sheet. I can have chicken at home.
Would you like him to make you something else?
I would like seafood.
Yeah.
I didn't have chicken on my preference sheet.
Chicken's not acceptable.
I'm offended that poultry was served.
The one girl clearly realizes how ridiculous this is because she just said, we're offended that poultry was served. Anyway, I find it fascinating to be in the realm of the ultra-rich like this, but that's the kind of moments you're like, holy man, like just a different universe from us, hey? Like, although you know what? Hey, who knows? Maybe if I won the lottery, I would turn into the poultry poo-poo woman as well, you know? I only want caviar and champagne, yes, while I'm getting fanned by a little pool boy in a gold Speedo. Thank you. You never know. That could be me.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
I have to admit something to you. I'm a bit of a bad girl. So I got my census in the mail along with everybody else whenever that was a few months ago, right? And I had it sitting on the counter with every intention of filling out my census. And then, of course, it gets buried and I kind of forgot. So when I was away a couple weeks ago, got a couple of warnings. So census workers actually showed up at my condo to tell me to do this, and I wasn't there at the time, so they left a couple of notes. And then the last notice I got, they ramped it up a bit. The warning got a bit more stern, and it had $500 fine written all over it. And then they wrote, it only takes 3 minutes. So, of course, I saw this, and I'm like, oh, my God. Okay, so I sat down. And it's true. It literally only took me 3 minutes. Filled it out. Felt a little bit badly that I took so long to do it. Anyway, at first, though, they ask your demographics. So, you know, your age, if you're single, your occupation, all that. So I go through and I fill that all out. Then I go to occupation, and it's a pull-down menu. You have to pick, right? So I'm scanning through, and normally broadcasting or media or something is an option in there that kind of pertains to me. None of that. No, there was no broadcasting or media listed. They did have one, though, that said entertainment. And I was like, well, I mean, that's kind of up for debate, but it's probably the closest that I've got. So go through it, click entertainment. Then it has another pull-down menu and asks you to specify. Once again, no mention of radio or media or broadcasting or anything. But there was an option for adult entertainment. Okay. So what this is saying to me is that adult entertainment is seen as more of a legitimate job than what I do here as a radio host, which, again, I mean, it's a great, honest living. No problem with that. But I was just like, okay. So, by the way, I did pick that, okay? Because technically I was thinking about it. I'm like, I am entertaining adults right now. So adult entertainer is what I filled out for my census. I think that makes sense, right? I'm very much an adult entertainer. I'm entertaining you. You're an adult right now. Okay, so there we go. Anyway, I should maybe look into that because apparently it's more legitimate than...
The Beckler and Seanna podcast. Etymology with Seanna.
I've got a couple kind of fun ones for you today. First of all, the word glamour. So this is crazy. Glamour, as in glamorous, you know, glamour shot, that kind of thing. Glamour actually comes from the Scottish pronunciation of the word grammar, as in spelling and grammar. And the reason was because in the Middle Ages, educated people were seen as super mysterious, and their knowledge became associated with magic. Because, of course, they would understand things that the uneducated wouldn't. And so what they did and their calculations and whatever they could do with that came across as magical or mystical. So glamour came from grammar because educated people were seen as magical. That is phenomenal. I had no idea. Super strange one. Another one for you, the word focus. So originally focus just meant the hearth or fireplace. And when you think about it, that too makes sense because back then the fireplace was, of course, the focus of the house. That's what heated the house, kept you alive, essentially. So the focus would be the fireplace. And then we transferred over and we use focus now to mean like concentrating on your work or the focus of whatever else. Now, though, you think about it, most homes don't even have a fireplace. So this really doesn't work anymore, does it? I was trying to think of if we were using that now, what the focus of the home might be. Would it be the TV? Or the couch, maybe? I mean, the kitchen, obviously, it's important to make food, but I almost feel like the TV is more of a focus. It's always in the main part of where your fireplace used to be, right? Sometimes if you do have a fireplace, the TV is above it. So would that be what you'd use? Okay, I need you to pay attention and television, okay? Stop getting distracted. Television on your work.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
I was joking last week how the new how's the weather here in Canada, at least at this time of year, is how are the mosquitoes? Because they can be awful in certain parts of this world during the summer. A friend of mine just posted this picture, and it's from Saskatchewan. He was driving in Saskatchewan, and it's the front of his vehicle. And it looks like it's covered in sand. It looks like he went for a little sand drive. It's all squished mosquitoes. It is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And the mosquitoes are absolutely awful in Saskatchewan. I haven't noticed them as bad here, but I don't spend a ton of time in the fields either, so I'm not sure if I'm just missing them. Last week, though, I did bring my car in for a little bit, and it was going to take about an hour, so I was like, okay, I'll hang out and I'll wait for it. And there was this lovely field across the street, and I was like, I'll hang there in the sunshine. Yet, nope. I walked in there and it was like the mosquitoes had never seen any human before, and I was fresh beaten. They were everywhere. It was the most insane. I was just like, ow, ow, oh, ah, oh. And then I left. Anyway, Beckler and I, of course, have made mosquitoes sexy in the past. And I feel like this is just a nice reminder to try and look at them a little differently, a little more positively, you know, when they are attacking you. A friend was also telling me about this new mosquito thing I'd never heard of before, where if you have bites, it's like a little burner that you can put on the bites, and apparently it's supposed to stop the itching. Never heard of that before. We used to use Afterbite when we were kids, but a burner. He said, though, he tried to do it and he had so many bites that by the end he'd just be a burned man. So he did a couple of them. But I was like, good to know there are different methods of at least trying to remedy these bites as well. Anyway, going back to looking a little more positively on the mosquitoes. This is from when Beckler and I made mosquitoes sexy. I I see you told all your friends about me and now they want me some too. Must be tasty.
Do you want to suck my blood?
Your proboscis made me itchy.
What's a proboscis?
It's the thing that stabs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Scientific term, Beckler.
Hey, girl. Nice thorax you got on you.
What's a thorax?
Too body.
You like to come out at dusk and like it wet. You seem like my type.
You sit down and have a West. Now I'll mix us some drinks.
Oh my God. Stop the dad joke.
Oh, that's not a joke.
Oh.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
All joking aside, it is a bit crazy because I do find I get a little more raspy voice when it is super smoky out. My voice is raspy to begin with, right? So me extra raspy, it's like, geez, man, lay off the darts. Hey, I do start to sound like that a little bit. So our smoke, though, this year hasn't been too bad, especially in comparison to Ontario, for example. I have some relatives who live in Thunder Bay. They actually had ash falling from the sky there. I remember a couple years ago when it was really bad here, the same thing. Do you remember that? Walking outside and you actually would get like soot on you? I remember I flew home to Toronto during that time once too. And when I came back, all of my clothes reeked of smoke. And you don't notice it because you're in it, right? But then when you go away and then you come back to the smokiness, you're like, oh my God. Everything I own smells like smoke. I was in Toronto and I was like sniffing myself. I was like, man, my clothing smells of smoke. Can't be good for you. We're getting into another pretty hot week here, and I'm a little bit nervous because when you see that, you always just hope that that doesn't mean more wildfires will start up. Although I notice a lot of them are from lightning storms, right? It's like lightning that kicks off a lot of these storms too. So anyway, hope everybody is staying safe, and I hope that we can keep less smoke around here. That would be ideal, and really everywhere. That would be awesome. You know where it doesn't smell like smoke, though? In the comfort of your Shane Holmes home. Yeah, you can stay in there with nice air conditioning, hang out, and not have to worry about the heat or the smoke. That's one of the joys of Shane Homes. They also pride themselves on energy efficiency. Their houses are always very well built for that, so that you are not wasting a lot of your AC if you do have it. Heat's not escaping. And of course, they've got that Yell Test approved soundproofing as well, which, again, we've tried before. It is, I can't even explain to you, it was unbelievable. It was so shocking how nothing got through. Beckler and I were sitting on either sides of this wall, and they were attached, right? And he was screaming and I was screaming, and we were like pounding drums, and you could not hear a single thing in between those walls. So that is fantastic as well. Of course, all the information on Shane Homes and everything they do and everywhere they're building is at shanehomes.com. Shane Homes, the better way to build.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
I was joking last week how the new how's the weather here in Canada, at least at this time of year, is how are the mosquitoes? Because they can be awful in certain parts of this world during the summer. A friend of mine just posted this picture, and it's from Saskatchewan. He was driving in Saskatchewan, and it's the front of his vehicle. And it looks like it's covered in sand. It looks like he went for a little sand drive. It's all squished mosquitoes. It is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And the mosquitoes are absolutely awful in Saskatchewan. I haven't noticed them as bad here, but I don't spend a ton of time in the fields either, so I'm not sure if I'm just missing them. Last week, though, I did bring my car in for a little bit, and it was going to take about an hour, so I was like, okay, I'll hang out and I'll wait for it. And there was this lovely field across the street, and I was like, I'll hang there in the sunshine. Yet, nope. I walked in there and it was like the mosquitoes had never seen any human before, and I was fresh beaten. They were everywhere. It was the most insane. I was just like, ow, ow, oh, ah, oh. And then I left. Anyway, Beckler and I, of course, have made mosquitoes sexy in the past. And I feel like this is just a nice reminder to try and look at them a little differently, a little more positively, when they are attacking you. A friend was also telling me about this new mosquito thing I'd never heard of before, where if you have bites, it's like a little burner that you can put on the bites, and apparently it's supposed to stop the itching. Never heard of that before. We used to use Afterbite when we were kids, but a burner. He said, though, he tried to do it and he had so many bites that by the end he'd just be a burned man. So he did a couple of them. But I was like, good to know there are different methods of at least trying to remedy these bites as well. Anyway, going back to looking a little more positively on the mosquitoes. This is from when Beckler and I made mosquitoes sexy. I your friends about me, and now they want me some too. Must be tasty.
Do you want to suck my blood?
Your proboscis made me itchy.
What's a proboscis?
It's the thing that stabs.
Oh, okay.
That thing, yeah. Scientific term, Beckler.
Hey, girl. Nice thorax you got on ya.
What's a thorax?
Too body.
You like to come out at dusk and like it wet. You seem like my type.
You sit down and have a West. Now I'll mix us some drinks.
Oh my God. Stop the dad joke.
Oh, that's not a joke.
Oh.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
So if you think it was hot here on the weekend, in Las Vegas, it was 46 degrees, 114 Fahrenheit. And this is crazy, but a bunch of flights were actually delayed, and it caused a bunch of major disruptions at the Vegas airport because, of course, airlines had to make sure that the planes were light enough to take off in the extreme heat. And I had never thought of that before, but of course, the air is less dense when it's that hot, so I guess all the airlines were asking people to get off the plane. They were paying about half of the people to get off the plane because they needed to make sure that it could get off. I guess there were thousands of dollars that they were offering up. They were saying, like, take the next flight or the next day or whatever. Man, $1,000, I'd do it. A friend of mine was just offered $2,000 and a free stay at a hotel recently to take or to get off the flight, and she refused, which I was like, I would have done it. Why would you refuse that? But it's funny, I also remember when we were kids, this happened. I want to say they were offering $1,000 a person around Christmas, and my parents and I were all traveling. I think I was about 12 at the time, but they were saying, hey, if you want to get off, the plane is overbooked, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you $1,000 a person. My parents could have made $4,000 if they decided to take another flight. I remember telling them at the time, I was like, let's do it, Mom. It's more toys for me. Let's go. That's an insane amount of money just to get off the plane. Why not? Problem is for us, unfortunately, we had to check into our accommodation. I think we had like another flight or something. It got too complicated. But man, you want me to pay me to get off a plane? I would do it. Although I guess in the case of Vegas, maybe it was so hot, everybody was just like, get me out of here. No, I got to get out. I was actually in Vegas during a heat wave a few years ago, and I think it was 110 Fahrenheit when we were there, so around 43 or so Celsius. And when we got there, I was wearing these flip-flops, and they were actually melting to the pavement. I remember the flip-flops were actually melting and like wearing away as I was walking down Vegas. I was like, okay, this is a problem. It was a bit concerning, so I had to go and buy new flip-flops because they actually did melt. It was that hot. That's a little too hot for me, I'd say. If my shoes start melting away beneath my feet, it might be too hot.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
Shark Week kicked off on Sunday. Do you watch Shark Week? Are you still into it? I don't feel like it's as big as it used to be, but I still love Shark Week. If I can go and catch some whatever, biographies on sharks or any of the reality stuff about them, it's always a good time. Reminded me, though, Beckler and I, a while back, during our Career Day segment, where we interview people with interesting jobs, we interviewed a shark expert. So it was Dr. Bob Huter out of Florida, and he's a marine biologist and a shark expert. And I thought it might be a fun time to recall a little bit of this interview. The whole thing is on our podcast. You can check it out there. But I started off asking him, I said, have you done a ton of work in cages with sharks?
No, very little. I've actually done more work swimming free and scuba diving free with them. And I'm very careful. I'm very respectful of them. People, have generally a fairly distorted view of if you're in the water and there's a shark nearby, then it wants to come and bite you. And it's just not the case. If you're careful and you interact with the right species. I've done work in a number of places. Some of my favorite work was down in Cuba, where we tagged sharks underwater for the first time with satellite tags, free tagged them. And
so you just swam freely with a shark and then tagged it and was just like, hey, okay, see ya.
Well, it's an interesting story because there was a Cuban dive instructor down there who showed us how he had this method of swimming up to a species of shark called the silky shark and kind of touching it on the nose and slowly making it kind of, come under his control, something we call tonic immobility, where he flipped them over upside down. And these were big sharks. I mean, these are 7-8 foot sharks. They weren't little dogfish. Nothing that I would recommend anybody listening do. You have to have great experience with this. But when he did that, then we were able to actually measure the shark underwater without a hook in it, without a net, freely living, and then quickly get a tag on it, and off it would swim. And we got some great data from those animals by doing that and published the paper.
Have you done any work alongside documentary crews or for nature films or anything like that? Because I know you said you like the science communication part of your job too.
Yeah, I've done tons, and I did work with Discovery Channel on that Cuban work. You can actually find that show. I'm very proud of that show. It was called Tiburon or Tiburones, the Sharks of Cuba, and you can still find it on YouTube. It was really a great documentary because it showed the collaboration between us and the Cuban scientists and as equals, and then all this great stuff in the water. And we had a number of great sequences in that show. I'm not real crazy about where Shark Week has gone in the last decade, so I haven't really been participating in that, but we do a lot of other kinds of things. And with OSearch, we're constantly filming video and streaming material and creating shows for the public to get the science into the public domain.
I was going to bring that up about Shark Week. I didn't realize that so many scientists look down upon it now. Why is that?
Because they took a turn to make it more like reality TV and celebrity shows. You know, they brought in celebrities and they do, in fact, have people on there who, say they're shark experts, and they have experience, diving with them perhaps or fishing, but they're not scientists. And it's when they cross the line and try to present those folks as scientists that we cringe, because typically in these shows, it portrays science as you come up with some kind of a question, which can often be pretty silly, and then you spend a day on a boat and you've answered that question. And that's just not the way science works. It's a methodical process. It takes a long time to answer questions. It usually leads to more questions. But it's hard to get that across in a 30 or 60-minute program.
The Beckler and Seanna podcast.
As many of you know, my co-host Beckler, of course, Beckler's away today. He is not a fan of the wind, right? In fact, he loathes the wind. He hates it with a passion. And I always find it a bit funny because, we live in the prairies, and unfortunately, wind is just a reality of what we have to deal with living here. So you kind of have to just go with it, right? Go with the flow, go with the wind, if you will. There is something, though, that I did not realize, but I was looking through some of those baby name registries, which, Alberta publicly releases, right? So every year, every registered baby name is listed off online, and you can always go through and take a look at what's on those lists. Beckler always does really funny videos with the funny names he comes through on those lists. There's a few, though, that I missed. And I think this was from 2022. It was the register that I was looking at from 2022. There are three names in particular that piqued my interest. There was the name Wind, Windy, and Windy Boy. Those were three officially registered names in Alberta in the year 2022. Now, I only looked at that year at the time, and now I'm curious if wind is a name that we see quite often in this province or in the prairies as a whole because of the locale and where we live with all of that wind. But Windy Boy, that is a name of somebody here in Alberta. Same goes again for just wind and windy. I wonder if we punch above our weight when it comes to wind names. Again, just simply because we have to deal with it so much. You're having your kid and it's super windy that day, and let's name him Wind. For God's sake, it's windy.
The Beckler and Seanna
Last week, Beckler and I were talking about how, those rewards cards, the ones you now get at every business where you have to scan, how those are really just in existence so that these businesses can track your purchases and your habits, right? Like those rewards cards, they're huge for these companies. They can see all sorts of information, right? Who's buying what product, the most popular time to buy, what products every demographic is buying. And then, of course, they can use that to cater even more specifically to you and the area you live in and everything else. Well, it's interesting, but a friend of mine was telling me that, how sometimes when you go into bars, they scan your ID there as well? He said that's for the exact same reason. They're doing that so that they can garner information about demographics. And it's funny because I was told that the reason they scan your ID at those places is because, in case you're, say, a troublemaker, bars have a network. So if you cause trouble, say in one bar, you're going to be flagged upon entering the next, and then they can know who's in there and all that. But apparently that's not really the main reason for scanning. A friend who works in the industry was saying, no, it's more about tracking the demographics of the bar, right? So at what time does what age group come in? Or what age group, buys this or buys that? What kind of group or specials, drink specials they want? All of that is tracked. And of course, then the bars can better cater to you. Interesting. I never even thought that. I was like, of course, that makes perfect sense, right? You'd want all that information as well. I feel like we're not that far away from bars being able to basically live time change drink specials based on who's walking in. You know what I mean? Just have flipping screens that they know the demographic right now is skewing this way, so you can make the drink specials attractive to them or whatever you can do. Also with bands and stuff, they now know who is going to watch what band and they can cater more specifically that way. I can't imagine a time where you walk in and they scan your ID and then the bar's already making the drink for you that they know you want. I don't feel like I don't think we're that far away from that. It would be genius, really. If you could pre-order your drink and have it waiting at the bar as you walk in, too, I'd be all right with that.
You've been listening to the Beckler and Seanna podcast.
Brought to you by Shane Homes. If it's your favorite, it's probably Shane Homes, Calgary's favorite home builder. See quick possessions and learn more about custom home options at shanehomes.com.
You want more? Then tune in to X Mornings with Beckler and Seanna live on Calgary's alternative, X92.9. Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Mountain Time at X929.ca. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and have Beckler and Seanna downloaded daily to whatever device you use. Later. This week on After Hours with Ty and Millions. In for Mariah.
Sorry for making fun of you so much this week. I feel like you've been my L-Rod.
L-Rod?
Lightning rod.
I thought you meant L. Ron Hubbard. Who is that?
You've been my L. Ron Hubbard, the guy that invented Scientology.
After Hours with Ty and Millions. Watch the video on YouTube. Stream it wherever you get your podcasts.